terrifying for anyone.
I just can't wait till it's over.
He's hoping that this is going to be our final visit to his kidney.
In this series, we meet patients with a range of illnesses and injuries that could affect any of us.
When am I going to get back playing? If I'm going to get back playing?
They can't even see my kidneys on scans. They're completely covered in cysts.
You get that phone call that you've got cancer. What was your first reaction?
Paul said he's going to fix me. It's all I'd ever hung on.
Doctors are now using cutting-edge 3D technology to see problems up close and personal.
It's like a little alien sitting in my kidney.
Oh boy.
Inside the patient's own body.
I didn't realise how diseased that they actually would have looked.
That's the build-up of calcium, and that's the reason that your valve's not working properly.
Getting a better understanding of what's gone wrong.
Does it make more sense now?
It makes perfect sense.
And how it can be fixed.
See you the other side, all right?
This time we are all about knees. Now think about how much they do for us. Walking, running, bending, working, driving, dancing. We give them a good old pummeling, so it's hardly surprising that they are one of the most injured joints in the body. In fact, 1 in 5 people in Ireland will suffer with a knee problem at some point in their lifetime. And today I'm having a chat with a fella who's had a pretty significant injury which could have life-changing consequences.
Galway hurler David Burke recently suffered a serious knee injury, rupturing a ligament that's keeping him out of training and off the pitch. It's a devastating setback that's ruled him out of play for the season.
Dave, it's lovely to meet you in the hallowed grounds of Croke Park. Every player's dream to play and win an All-Ireland final here, which you did.
Yeah, it's good to be back. I mean, we had good days in 2017, but not so good days as well to go with it.
Good and bad days.
Yeah.
Speaking of the bad days, I know you have a dodgy knee, so let's grab a seat for a chat.
Nicely picked up by David Burke. Burke hits an almighty wallop of a slipper straight over the bar.
David has a much decorated career in hurling, including a memorable stint as captain. When Galway became All-Ireland Senior Hurling Champions in 2017.
Egon O'Farrell presents to Lynn McCarthy to David Burke. What a moment. History before your eyes.
The tiny band of ligament that snapped is crucial to the stability of the knee. Cruciate ligament tears like this have ended many an athlete's career.
So tell us, David, exactly what happened on the day.
So basically, training session about a couple of weeks ago, and going for a ball with a teammate, normal tackling drill that we would normally do, and kind of planted my right leg, didn't get my left leg down in time, and my right leg went to the right hand side, so just body weight completely buckled the knee from under me.
So from 1 to 10, where was the pain level?
Oh, it was ferocious. About 3 or 4 minutes of just grabbing the grass with my fists and just in pain, and eventually the doc came around and kind of calmed me down, got me back into a neutral position, and maybe 1 or 2 of the physios came out and helped me in off the field then with the doc, so that was kind of where we went from there.
Yeah, come on, David.
And then I found out I had a bit of damage done in the knee, so it was disappointing to hear, right, definitely.
And just bring it straighter, and then really try and lock the quad.
David is getting physio to help rebuild the strength in his knee. But for the next few months, his hurling career will be in a state of limbo.
You know, I was trying to put myself in your shoes, and I'm not an athlete, and so if me or anybody else gets an injury, it's sore, it's inconvenient.
Definitely.
But for somebody like you to have an injury like that in that moment, that is potentially life-changing.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, coming in off the field, into the dressing room, I was probably on my own, and you know, probably got a bit upset for 30 seconds, knew that the year was definitely done. That initial, you know, understanding that you're kind of gone it's heartbreaking, really. And you're going into a different mindset straight away. You're gone away from being that competitor, you know, looking forward to the next session, looking forward to the next game, and it's frustrating, really, and yeah, it's hugely disappointing.
It's going to be a life-changing year for David, as himself and his partner Laura are expecting their first baby. Laura, it's lovely to meet you and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. How are you feeling?
Good now at the moment. We're heading into the last couple of weeks, so fingers crossed all goes well. But yeah, we're excited for the couple of months in the summer ahead.
For an athlete to have an injury like this, it is potentially life-changing.
I suppose in things like this, perspective is quite important.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to think about the bigger picture and think about the things that we've got ahead of us, regardless of or away from sports and hurling. And you know, it's not the end of the world. He still has his health, and like that for you and I suppose an injury like that, it's nothing that's life-threatening. So that's really important to bear in mind too. But no, for him, obviously it's quite significant. But he seems to be optimistic that it's not the end.
He seems to be coping with it really well.
Yeah, he does. We're just going to have to maybe adapt a little bit more as well. There could be two of us struggling to get up off the couch in the next couple of weeks, but we'll figure it out.
Today, David has an appointment with consultant orthopaedic surgeon Professor Cathal Moran at the Sports Surgery Clinic in Santry. He's keen to find out if surgery's on the cards.
We just recap on the injury that happened and what we've done so far and where we're going with this.
Yeah, so like we're training there one evening and a teammate and myself going for a ball kind of came at a slight angle together, and my right leg had planted in the ground before my left leg got to the ground. I suppose my right leg then went from under me, just pivoted and completely, part of snap.
How have things been going with the exercises first?
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, pain and moving around mobility-wise had improved a lot over the last couple of days.
And you feel the swelling has gone down a good bit from your end?
Yeah, it has pretty much, in fairness. Would there be any other avenues to rehab the injury?
And we've had a few athletes in the past who have tried the rehab alone, but unfortunately it doesn't tend to work out, and more often than not the knee just won't stand up to the rigours of twisting and turning.
Cathal, it is lovely to meet you.
Delighted to meet you too, Catherine.
So let's get straight into it. What is an ACL?
Well, the ACL is the anterior cruciate ligament. It's probably the key central ligament of the knee that stops the thigh bone and shin bone sliding around on each other. And that ligament typically will tear when an athlete is decelerating quickly, as David described, or when they go to cut and turn. 70% or so happen in a non-contact situation, but there are other mechanisms of injury, and you can injure by getting hit and in a contact situation too. We're always looking for new ways to educate and to share ideas and to explain to athletes what we're actually going about, because I think the more buy-in we can get from the start, the more they understand what's being done to their body, the more they'll probably participate in not just the surgery bit, but the rehabilitation afterwards and so on, which is a key aspect of doing well.
Today, David will get a chance to see 3D imaging scans of the inside of his knee to identify the torn anterior cruciate ligament.
So David, one of the fun and exciting things we have today is to be able to look at the model of your knee on the virtual reality with these headsets. So we might just pop them on.
Wow. It's cool.
So essentially, David, what you're looking at here is a model of your own knee. On the top you have your thigh bone, at the bottom the shin bone. On the outside we have your lateral collateral ligament, and the inside here is called the medial collateral ligament. And these ligaments that you see inside are the two key ligaments. The one at back is the posterior cruciate ligament, and the one at the front running from here to the inside of the knee is your anterior cruciate ligament. We call them the cruciate ligaments because essentially they cross each other in making an X in the middle of the knee. Many ligaments can become injured without typically needing surgery for reconstruction, but the anterior cruciate ligament, or ACL, certainly is one that athletes and people who play a lot of cutting and turning sports would find it hard to live without. ACL, or the anterior cruciate ligament, starts here at the front and runs to the back. That's one of the key ligaments that provides the stability to your knee to stop it rotating and giving way when you're running and turning. And that's the ligament that's torn, and that's the one we'll need to reconstruct.
And you can actually see that it's torn there and that?
We can actually, yeah. I mean, that's the wonderful thing about this actual virtual reality, to be able to show it to you. And you can just see here at the top end where it's torn in your case.
Oh yeah, it's amazing, isn't it, really, how you can see the structures of the ligaments and the joints and all that.
A normal ACL will typically have straight line fibres that joins the thigh bone and the shin bone. Here we don't see that. David has essentially a complete ACL tear.
Carl, would this be a normal tear that you'd see in the knee?
Tears can be partial, where you stretch out the ligament fibres, or they can be complete, and in your case it's essentially complete. It's very rare, I think, patients can play sport at high level with even partial tears. he doesn't trust his knee at the moment. And I'm sure seeing those fibres gone and seeing that 3D model will explain to him why that's the case. But I suppose he'll also understand how intricate everything is and how we have to give it time to heal.
And Carl, what's this purple bone part here?
That purple marking there, that's where the thigh bone actually spun and hit the back of the top of the shin bone. That's what we call a pivot shift, and that's the classic mechanism by which the ACL tears.
As the ACL is badly torn, Cathal is proposing surgery to reconstruct the ligament using a tendon graft from David's kneecap.
Some of the main advantages of patella tendon graft is essentially that it essentially offers a stronger graft which is more resistant to failure over time. And ultimately, in the athletes I treat, their biggest desire, I suppose, is to go with a graft that is the lowest risk of failure.
Is surgery definitely on the cards, or are you still trying to figure that out with Cathal?
I've obviously asked him, is there any other potential avenue we could go down without going surgery, but he's obviously done this numerous times. He knows the best possible thing for me at my age as well is to get surgery done, and he's obviously told me that there's a huge success rate in it. It's a year-ending injury, really, when you think about it.
Yeah.
People have asked me already, like, is it over? And you'd be like, look, we'll see how the injury...
How does that make you feel?
I don't know, I feel quite embarrassed nearly talking to people about it because, like, they're nearly wanting to retire me in a way, and I'm like, well, we'll see how it goes.
There's an opportunity here. David Burke puts it over the bar.
Are you worried about your position in the team?
I definitely, you always are. Every year you go back, you're going to be worried. How are you going? How are you playing? I'm very open-minded, optimistic if you put in the work. After, hopefully, get the surgery done fairly soon, that things would go well, and see how it goes. Like, you can't put a time on it, I know that.
Picked up by David Burke.
If you're that bit older and trying to get back to that elite level sport, like, that's obviously the biggest challenge. As athletes, there's no worse person in the world than yourself who can push on you, and like, that's evident in all sports. So GAA players are no different.
Okay, but it's going to happen. You're going to be back on pitch.
That is the challenge for me now. Can you get back to playing that elite level sport if possible? So we'll wait and see.
Do you believe you can?
I think I can, yeah, definitely.
Coming up.
It's not just about getting you back to play, it's keeping you back playing, keeping you safe in the game.
Let's do it. Yeah. We'll see you the other side, all right?
This is pulling in the graft.
Galway hurler
How you eat a cream egg says everything about you. Heather likes to nibble hers, maintaining eye contact. That means she's a big deal. She orders for the table.
We'll have the lobster.
Ooh, and plays rock every time and doesn't care about lyrics. Search Cream Egg Test to find out who you really are. How do you eat yours?
Join Ireland's new energy supplier, YouKnow Energy, with an app that lets you know how much energy you're using. With YouKnow Energy, you just know.
What is it that thousands of women find hard to talk about?
I wet myself. See a little trickle. Whoosh. A little bit of leakage. The main thing is laughing.
Sneezing. Lifting. Dancing. I'm a comedian. Peeing myself is kind of an occupational hazard.
Leaks happen. That's why Always Discreet has a super absorbent core that turns pee to gel to help stop wetness and odour.
I love being a mum. If I have a little leak, who cares? It's perfectly normal.
Always Discreet. Let's talk about leaky bladders.
Yakult Balance, packed with friendly bacteria and contains vitamin D to support immunity and muscle and bone health. Little bottle, big difference.
Aw, what a clever dog. Have they done this road up? They must have. Ah, they did. So what if it's Latin? Today's gonna be great.
You'll love the electric life. Experience Citroën Advanced Comfort across the entire Citroën electric range, including the EC4 and all-new EC4X, also available in petrol and diesel.
David Burke has suffered a season-ending injury to his knee.
Oh, it was ferocious. About 3 or 4 minutes of just grabbing the grass with my fists and just in pain.
With the help of 3D imaging, David learnt that there was no doubt his anterior cruciate ligament had been completely ruptured.
And that's the ligament that's torn. That's your anterior cruciate ligament, and that's the one we'll need to reconstruct.
Understandably, David wants to do everything he can to get back hurling at the top level. However, he now faces surgery and a long period of rehab. Consultant orthopaedic surgeon Cathal Moran is proposing a tendon graft to replace the ligament.
Is it imperative that he gets surgery, or could there be another avenue for him?
Well, I suppose David would be regarded as a high-level athlete. He's been an inter-county hurler and high-level club player for a decade or 15 years or more. So in that type of player, most would say they would struggle to play and perform without their ACL being intact. The knee tends to give way when they go to cut and turn. When you have that level of instability in the knee, you have the high risk of recurrent injuries of what we call the menisci or shock absorbers, the cartilage and so on.
So for somebody like David, who, as an athlete, he puts pressure on himself naturally, when is he going to be back on the pitch?
The surgical aspect has to go well. You know, a key early aspect for David is getting swelling down, getting the movement going in the knee. Then we start bringing a little strength work into play, eventually some running, and at the far end return to play. Typically we'd like to have about 8-9 months in our head, depending on how...
On how he's doing.
Yeah.
What are you looking at, surgery-wise?
I suppose, well, you've been going pretty well. You know, you have a couple of weeks under you.
Yeah.
And, you know, looking at the knee today, the swelling's gone down. So we're hoping over the next week or two we'll get you in.
Carl, how long does the procedure actually take? Or?
The procedure involved in that takes about an hour, but rehabilitation is a huge part of it. And we often would say to athletes, it'll take the best part of 9 months. It's not just about getting you back to play, it's keeping you back playing and keeping you safe in the game.
So is there any reason why you can't get back to the top level, do you think, again? Or?
I suppose, David, with your own determination and grit, I'd say, not only will you be back, but you'll be back better than ever, hopefully.
David will be in theatre for just under an hour in the safe hands of Cathal and his team.
Wow. How you doing?
Well,
yeah, good, good. How you feeling? You ready?
Good, yeah, ready. Yeah,
feeling ready?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
I'm hungry, alright.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
We'll see you the other side, all right?
I've been invited to observe in theatre where Cathal will perform keyhole surgery using a tiny camera to view the inside of David's knee.
See this movement? That's just showing the instability. Well, I suppose when we're reconstructing the ACL, we have to use a graft, we call it, a substitute material. There are a number of options. We have the quadriceps tendon from above the patella, we have the hamstrings from the inner side of the knee, and then we have the patella tendon graft. By and large, our preference is patella tendon grafts, and certainly it's what I use most in my own practice. The first thing I'm doing is taking the graft, the piece of graft from the front of the knee. Some of the main advantages of patella tendon graft is essentially that you've got a piece of bone at either end, and that piece of bone is essentially what will integrate into the tibia bone, the shin bone, and the thigh bone when the graft has been placed. And we think that essentially offers a stronger graft, which is more resistant to failure over time.
Witnessing the surgery is a real privilege. Great to see, not so easy to hear. Part of the patella tendon at the front of the knee is carefully removed to replace the torn ACL.
Then I suppose I will enter the knee with the camera and my little shaver, wash out the knee, remove the ACL tendon tissue that is now torn and redundant. Wash it out, just keep squeezing it. Lights on there for a second, guys. No, we're good actually, you're good, yeah. The final step, I suppose, is to place tunnels in the thigh bone and in the shin bone into which the graft I've taken earlier can be pulled, and that then is fixed in place with screws, with the eventual aim of pulling the graft up through the shin bone tunnel up into the thigh bone, and eventually they're fixed in place with screws. Pull it through.
It is just absolutely amazing to watch.
Yeah. So this is pulling in the graft. Pull it in. 1 second, straighten out the leg chip the way you normally do. And pull it a little, Chip. That's it, and pull it up. Pull it in, Chip. Looks great, Claire. Pull a little bit more.
Copy?
Yeah, perfect. Looks great, Claire. Okay. Looks perfect, Claire.
There's so much tech going on here, but it all seems to boil down to mechanics, drilling and screwing the new tendon into the bone.
That was absolutely extraordinary. You know, it feels that the hard work has been done now. Surgery is done. Cathal thought it went really well, but in fact, only now the hard work begins.
After a few weeks on crutches, David lost no time in getting back into the gym to start the long process of rehab. He's back today for a checkup at the Sports Surgery Clinic in Santry.
So just lie up there and make yourself comfortable for a moment. Dave, we might just get you to bend up the knee a little there and out back, okay? It's moving really well.
Yeah, very good,
Super,
yeah.
very comfortable.
Yeah.
And just let me feel the patella, the kneecap tracking. Bend that up again there. We might just get you to lift the leg straight up off the bed there. Okay, great stuff. All right, so just want to have a little feel of that leg there now. That feels really good. Yeah. It's rock solid. You know, you remember at the start when you were in first, there was a big drawer in that, but that's gone out of it now. Just let me get one other little feel there. Yeah, it feels rock solid. I'm delighted with that. You've done super. Well done. Stuff. You know, at the outset we were chatting about some of your goals and where you are and what the goals might be for this season or next season. Have they changed any bit, or are you still thinking the same?
Yeah, well, I suppose over the early parts of the summer, I was thinking of, you know, you'd be trying to get back for the into the club championship, and that's kind of the goal that was in my head at the start. And it was all, I suppose, just building up then over the summer and hitting small targets. Then probably the hardest thing I find is nearly taking a day off from doing it and just giving it enough rest and recovery, which is probably just as important as doing the work.
Yeah, 100%. A good man, because that's one of the things I've said, is just have the patience with that to allow the strength to come, because the movement often will come after that. And what we might agree on is that you might play a quarter of a game or half a game and so on, just to make sure that you're safe. You know, we don't want to pick up any other injuries, this knee aside. As you go back now and hit this heat of the season, I think you're going to fly, you know. I mean, full credit to you for all the hard work you've done. I've no doubt you're going to a fantastic end of the championship, and well done in going that direction.
I've come to meet David on his home turf, St Thomas's Club in Galway, to congratulate him on his recovery and also on recently becoming a daddy.
Dave, good to see you again.
Good to see you, Catherine.
You are on 2 feet.
I am.
You're upright.
Yeah, I'm feeling good, yeah.
Well, big changes for you since I've seen you last as well. Massive congratulations.
Thanks a million, yeah. Baby Robin has come into our world, it's great.
Yes.
And, yeah,
how is she? How's Baba and how's Laura?
Yeah, Laura's good, yeah, keeping well. She's getting into a bit of a routine now, I suppose, yeah, so it's great. She's very adorable, I suppose, yeah, and she's changed her lives for the better. And look, I suppose coming up to when we're expecting a due date, it kind of took my mind off the injury as well and all that. You know, that was the focus, and even since as well. So it's kind of just, that's the priority now really, and kind of whatever I can do then with the knee is after that is great. Like,
how were you directly after the surgery?
The biggest thing is the muscle loss in your quad, your hamstring, so you're trying to get that back, and I suppose just even getting to walk around again, get driving, even going up and down the stairs normally without crutches. I suppose that was the main aim initially.
How does that affect you psychologically? Or does it?
It's tough going, like, it's really a psychological injury. You know, you see a couple of days of improvement, but after that then it gets very slow, and you have to be very determined to kind of stick at the ice and stick at the few exercises that you're given. It can be tough in a lonely place, like, and you know, even people asking you how are you getting on or how the rehab going.
Are you sick of that question?
It's not too bad now, but it was tough going, all right, when you kind of meet people that you haven't seen in a while, and you could be answering the same question over and over again. Will you get back? Won't you get back? How will the rehab go and all that? So that all plays in your mind. For hurling is such a physical game, so I'm building up the focus on the strength on the knee, but like just getting back in the field is a different conundrum altogether, and that's, you know, plays in your mind a little bit. So the motivating factor is just kind of, you know, you want to be able to play and put on the club jersey with the lads again and see what happens after that.
And there is that phrase, you got to face your fears, and walking back and playing the first match after an injury like this comes with fear.
Yeah, definitely. There is going to be that element to it, like, you know, it's going to be all this in the back of your head. And look, I haven't too many years left in the tank either, but I know I can still offer a little bit more.
Well, you have a load more years left in the tank. How are you for a geriatric puck around?
Ah, yeah, definitely.
We give it a lash?
Oh, yeah, definitely, that's for sure. Let's hold the ball out further. Oh, look at that. Ball to hand. Ball to hand. Oh, she's getting...
Make him run. Oh, nearly up the nose.